Evolution of fashion trend in the Philippines. Have you seen how young Filipinos are dressing today? They seem to adapt to the K-pop culture, Western styles, and trending fashion. But do they know something about the traditional Filipino dresses? Or do they even have a clue what does it look like? Young Filipinos have been exposed to traditional Filipino dresses and outfits since kindergarten. They saw and even wear those in many school events. They can also see them in movies, TV shows, and others. However, that doesn't mean they know more about these traditional clothes. It seems they need to dig into Filipino history to find out how they are developed and how they influence their sense of fashion today. The Filipinos and their fashion. It is undeniable that Filipinos are very passionate about their fashion and style. They love to look for the latest trend of clothing and style that they can use for various. But most of all Filipinos have sense of fashion. They can always determine if a particular style of clothing or outfit is fashionable or not. In just a single glance, they can quickly tell if it is bagay or fit for the one wearing, or baduy, poor style of clothing. One of the things that you can appreciate in the Filipinos' sense of fashion is their adherence to appropriateness. Is the clothing or style of fashion appropriate for a particular event or venue? Is it appropriate for the fashion or for the person wearing it? Whatever the style and trend of fashion, Filipinos would always adhere to what is appropriate to wear. Filipinos wanted to look presentable and honorable in their attire. They don't want to look nakakahiya or shameful and lowly. It's not a good idea to wear something humiliating on a particular occasion, or you will notice other people staring at you like an alien from outer space. Fashion and tradition. We cannot separate Filipino fashion and tradition. However, as time goes by, the essence and elements of tradition seem to fade away. This was due to Western influences, but we can still see various elements in the traditional Filipino fashion. You may be wondering why Filipinos love to wear many borloloys or fashion accessories such as piece of jewelry, gold, and decorations in their body. This was one of the pre-colonial period marks where you can see men and women wearing pearls and golden necklaces, and bracelets, earrings, and many more. Talking about the pre-colonial period, have you seen men wearing a half-size and unenclosed jacket in many of our history books? When you go to the streets today, you can find men known as tambays who would habitually raise their shirts and expose their stomachs. It seems that they want to show that they are busog or full but not buntis, pregnant. For the women, it was believed that the Spanish have changed the naked outfits of the native Filipino inhabitants. They want them to look modest, so they change the pre-existing garments such as baru, tapis, and saya into morally acceptable dress modes. We know that the Spanish have strict moral standards, therefore, they want to impose modesty on women, especially on their clothing. Therefore, the short and half-size clothing were changed. The baru was changed to barok because they added lengthy sleeves on it. They also add pañuelo or fichu to conceal the chest area for women's blouses. Then, the saya, which is a skirt, was inserted underneath the tapis and not the other way around as what most Filipino people believe. We can find the elements of these restructured garments in many ternos even until this day. This is what they call the Maria Clara type of dress. Maria Clara is considered the ideal woman for her modesty in manner and clothing. Here, we can see that the ethnic traditional clothing was already changed and evolved into a more modest one as what the Spanish would prefer during that time. The peak of Filipino fashion is during the Commonwealth period of the century in the 1930s. It is the era where the Filipino culture is clearly defined. It was in these years that you can see every Filipino design in interiors, graphics, jewelry, architecture, clothing, and many more. Indeed, it was in these years where Filipino culture and traditional being promoted and patronized, mainly by Commonwealth government. All in all, our fashion is affected due to globalization or modernization.